It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal podcast, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams. We are back in the cabin with Dan, ready to fall. What's going on, my man?
Man, it's a little early we're doing this, but nevertheless, it's pretty cold out.
Yeah. You know, I've got a little Christmas gathering going on tonight. So
yes, you do. It's that time of year.
Yeah, it is. So I thought we would kind of get the show done early. You know, you brought over coffee, you brought over donuts, and we got our good friend, the UNJ Gnome, is back in the cabin again. So
absolutely,
our hunting friend here, he's been busy.
Yes, he has.
He's been on the road, traveling along with us and making his way around Michigan's great outdoors.
Well, last week he enjoyed the youth from Indiana.
Yeah. Yep. We were up north at deer camp. So
you know what? It was I thought about this and I talked about this as I was talking to other people as to what'd you do this weekend?
Right.
And I kind of explained to them what I did and who they were, and it's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, these kids went above and beyond the call of duty as counselors to.
Right.
I think they're known as junior counselors.
Yep.
And they were rewarded to come on up and do some hunting. Everybody got an opportunity, which was cool. I really enjoyed that. I got up there on Saturday and got to enjoy them before they had to bug out, before the wonderful weather that we had to drive in going home on Sunday.
How'd you like that drive home?
You know what? I think we left early enough that it was okay. I've driven home in worse from the UP to get home.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can still see pavement.
Mm-hmm.
I can see two ruts. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
It's when that goes away, then it gets a little squirrely.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, and congratulations to Gavin.
Gavin. Yep.
He's the one that was able to take down a doe. Everybody had an opportunity though, so that was really nice.
You know, we're cutting you off there in the picture.
Oh, you're cutting me off.
Well, you're cutting yourself off, so you need to slide in or slide slide that back just a little bit while we're going live here. We're live on Facebook for those of you who listen to the podcast on the record side. So we're trying some new things again. Getting back to our live streaming best we can. So
look at that.
Yeah, there you go. You turn it that way just a little bit more there. You know, I mean, I like to look at myself, but we got to get you in here too.
All right,
so.
There we go.
All right, that's better.
All right, so congratulations to him. They got home all safe and sound, which was really good. And
you and I braved the elements the next day.
Basically, yes, we did. We hunted in the morning, which was good. It was the calm before the storm.
Yes, it was. We got out early, got in deer blinds, got you set up. I took off and went up to my deer blind on the ridge and watched Michigan's great outdoors awaken with the light coming, and then the nice little white stuff came.
And it started. But it's kind of funny when you in one state how it works and how the mentality is of when you're going to get snow and we're just going to get 1 to 3. It's no big deal. Just take your time.
Or 4 to 6.
And as you come down here, it's becoming more and more of an issue, and they start panicking more.
Yeah, they canceled school the next day, actually.
Oh, absolutely, they did.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah. See, up there, they're like, just take your time. It's good.
I don't get that, but be that as it may. So.
It is. That's one of the things that happens. And
so, what was it like sitting? That's the first time you've actually hunted at my camp.
That was the first time that I got to hunt in your camp, and you know what? It was really awesome, and I want to thank you for letting me come out.
Hey, no problem. Glad to have you.
Unfortunately, when I had the muzzleloader in my hands, do you think I could see one deer?
No. That's the way it goes.
And if I would have known, and if I would have had the muzzleloader the night before, I would have had one in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it'd have been done, slam dunk, done deal, and go home.
I was because I used the bow the first night,
right?
And I got up in a tree stand, which was cold, but you know what? I was dressed for it. I was ready for it. I was testing something with my boots to see how they were going to work out because I was using the rubber boots,
right,
as opposed to like the leather boots. I wanted to see how it worked.
Okay.
And there was a couple things that I noticed that for like the tree stand, probably one of the things that I would do if I were to do that again, instead of having my feet right on the metal grate, getting something between them, the metal and my shoe,
Okay.
Like I don't know,
Piece of carpet?
piece of carpet, another piece of rubber or something.
Okay.
Get that separation between the metal. Otherwise, actually, I was out there for 4 hours,
Right.
and I did pretty good for the first 3 hours. The last hour was kind of getting tedious there with my feet, but I made it. So, and like I said, with the first 15 minutes, I had a deer come in. I was totally flat-footed. I will not lie to you. I was not ready to shoot. I just was not ready to shoot a deer because...
Being that you just got set and stand.
Well, not just that. It was my mentality.
Right.
My mentality was... Because remember, I hunt in the UP, and I can't shoot a doe.
Right.
So as soon as I saw the deer, and it was nothing antler-wise, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a deer. And then I went, oh, yeah, by the way, Dan, you know you can shoot this.
You can shoot
a
a
doe.
doe.
Oh.
Yeah, we're doing doe management.
Whoa. So then I was like, okay. And then my mentality kind of changed, and she busted me. But I will not lie, I was totally flat-footed, and she busted me at 11 yards, and I was hoping she'd walk, just like you said she would. If they come down this way, let her walk by you to get the quartering away. And I was like, okay, that's what she's got to do. She's got to walk past me to get down to the quartering away shot. She's at the 11-yard tree. I'm like, okay. And she took one step past that tree and looked right up at me.
Had you pegged?
And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Had you been ready, could you have shot her?
Okay,
if
so...
you'd have been at full draw when she stepped out.
If I could have got to draw, I don't think so, because there was too much underbrush from that tree itself. I could see through it, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And there was another spot where she was a little distance away, but I still had the same problem. There was just that the bottom branches of those
other cedar trees.
The cedar trees.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to try to push it through that, because I know it will do.
Yeah, right.
It will hit something.
Well, and actually next year that stand is probably going to be moved. Obviously farther off the trail, away from the trail, because the trail, I mean, literally goes right
11 yards.
Yeah, 11
yards. It
yards.
cuts right through by that tree, right? I don't know if it's on the front side of that tree or the back side of the tree.
Yeah.
But she came right down there, and it was like, I really liked being able to see into the swamp like that. That was kind of cool. But I know they did some logging in the area there. Is that a trail that you walked? Is that a trail that goes to another blind behind me?
It goes to another tree stand. It goes, okay, remember the big box blind that was raised?
Yep.
Okay, there's a shooting lane that I've got. It's like a little small 2-track. You can drive a quad down it. I can't reach out and touch each side of the 2-track. It's probably twice that wide, so probably 12 feet wide.
Okay.
I can drive my vehicle down it, and when it's dry.
Oh, okay.
So that opening you look to your right is the opening that shooting lane goes to.
Right.
And I've got another tree stand down there in the middle of 3 cedar trees.
Because I know they were using that trail that you walked in behind me.
Yeah,
So
they've kind of started using that because I've cleared that out, and now that they've logged that, it's kind of like a natural path for them. Problem is, there's nowhere to set a tree stand up.
Well, yeah, it's wide open.
Yeah, it's wide open.
They were coming out of that and going right to the field. Or they were coming, which would have been in front of me, out of the swamp. So, but no, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And then the next morning, of course, you give me the muzzleloader. I'm like, all right.
Game on.
Game on. Get me into a shooting house. I'm like, all right, just let me see one. Just make sure it's not a button buck, and we're golden. Let's go. And nothing.
You didn't see a deer.
I did not see a deer.
I was really surprised. I was real surprised you didn't see anything out of that field, because that field had been hot the whole week.
I know, and it was like...
And I seen 5 up on the ridge that morning.
Which is about how far away from me?
Maybe 150, 200 yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was... You would know this better than I was. Was the shooting typical, or was it slow for a muzzleloading hunting up there?
You mean for the week?
Yeah, for the time you spent and the amount of shots that you heard.
I thought it was a little low.
Low, okay.
Yeah, even though we were seeing a lot of deer.
Right, exactly. No, I was just wondering. To me, it seemed like I thought there would be more shots, but maybe not.
Yeah.
So, but I had a great time and got to meet the kids, and they seemed pretty excited. And when Gavin got his, it was pretty exciting. He won all the pots that were up for grabs, and
right, yeah, so, yeah. He went home with a little money in his pocket.
Money and venison.
Yeah, right on.
So, but no, it was a great time, and it was a good time. It was cold, but it's December, so what do you expect, right?
Right.
And what I found out with my boots and how I did that, I think wasn't too bad. I just got to figure out maybe another layer on the bottom of my boots, I think.
You didn't get cold in the box blind though.
No.
I started to say, because I provided you with a nice little heater in there.
You know what? That was funny. I fired that thing up. It was kind of still dark. Man, does that thing glow?
Glow, yeah, you look like a pumpkin because through the windows it glows orange. I meant to tell you, don't turn it on until it gets daylight.
I'm like, holy cow! So I figured out. I was just practicing to get it lighted and started, and I turned it on, killed the chill in the air, shut it off. That was the only time I used it. I let it go.
Right on.
And then, yeah, didn't see a deer that I needed to see.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't see anything down there. That's the reason I put you in that stand. Actually, had you been in the stand that I was in, you would have had a shot.
Right, and that was our dilemma: what stand to put me in, right?
Yeah, and I figured up there, I probably, if I seen 4 or 5 deer, I was going to be happy, and that's what I saw. I saw 5 deer.
Yep.
I didn't see the big buck that I've been hunting all year, but that's the reason I was up there on the ridge, is I knew where he was traveling, and I figured he might come through there. But I know that I had an opportunity to shoot a doe that morning at about 100 yards, and I put the crosshairs on her. I knew the storm was coming, and I had venison in the freezer, and it's like, that's not the deer I'm looking for. And
I was playing that in my mind. I'm like, all right.
I put him right on her, and I went, in my mind, I went bang, and I just didn't want to deal with a doe that morning. I mean, I was hunting one specific deer.
Yeah, so. You were after one deer, and if I could have seen one deer, and I was hoping it was going to be early. I was like, all right, just give me one just after daylight.
Yeah.
Let's get this taken care of. Let's get it wrapped up, because we knew the storm was coming.
Right on.
So it was, but no, it was a great time, and it's always good going to your camp and seeing what's happening, and it was kind of funny. We talked about this, I think, well, maybe we didn't even talk about this, but they left Saturday night after we recorded the last show, and we were sitting there, and it was so quiet. John asked what that noise was, and we're like, that's the clock ticking.
Yeah. So
it just goes to show you, when you have more people in camp, the noise factor, and then when they disappear, it gets quiet. So
you can hear a pin drop.
Really? So if you're up there by yourself and you don't have a radio going or nothing like that, it can be definitely quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, there's times I'm up there. My dad, he'll come up and he'll hunt with me during bow season. And I'm up in camp for 8-9 days usually. I'd go from a Saturday to the following Sunday. And he just can't sit still. He'll hunt 3 or 4 days and take off. And then I'm in camp 4, maybe 5 days by myself. First day or two is okay. That third evening, it's like, okay, I need some human interaction, contact, And that's when you start seeing me on Facebook in the evenings and stuff like that, really hammering it, because it's
like that's your connection to the world.
Yeah, it's that separation, and just like when we talked to Dave McIntyre, who won last season 2 on History Channel alone, that episode where they put him out in the wilderness by themselves, 10 people. And they just started season 3, by the way, and they're in Patagonia this year down in South America. That's pretty cool. But he said that's the hardest thing to overcome, is being alone and not having human interaction for that long a time.
And he was out there
66 days.
66 days.
Yeah.
And you're talking only 3 days.
3 or 4 days, and I'm already going, hey, I got to talk to somebody. And they don't have, cell phones and all that.
They don't got nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Right? They don't got no interaction with the outside except for when they come and are checked out by the doctor.
Yeah. And they got their little tap out satellite phone.
Oh, yep. That's what
it's like, come get me, I'm done.
Yep.
So,
but no, it was a good time had by all, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was just a good time.
It was, and the snow that morning was peaceful. There was no wind that morning, and when the snow came, I was just sitting there, my head leaned up against the edge of the window frame, just looking out, and it was beautiful.
It was one of those. I can hunt in that all day.
Yeah.
It's peacefully coming down. There's no wind. It's not a hurricane wind blowing across sideways. But no, it was just a peaceful, quiet. I was watching 2 squirrels in the corn or in the I think it was whatever you planted there.
Yeah, right field.
They were just out there, and I was watching them guys, and it was just peaceful. It was like, wow.
I had a doe and a little one getting bumped around by a young buck. So we were in second rut. We'd seen signs of it. But the first thing I saw that morning was a spike. And, he had 6-8 inch long spikes. He come from down by where you were up the ridge, and he had his nose in the air, and he was trying to smell, and catch scent of something. He was about 100 yards out from me. So it wasn't me he was picking up. He was just trying to find a doe.
Trying to find a doe.
Yeah. And then there was that buck that chased the doe and the little one out, and I could have shot her. But I was leaning up against that window frame, just kind of watching it snow. And all of a sudden, I just kind of looked down out of the edge of my eye, and here comes this little spike. And he comes through at about 15, 20 yards. He had no clue I was there. And it was just really nice watching him do his thing, and he kind of walked off and went on.
I think that's one of the nice things of when you're out there, and they really don't pay attention to you, and you're kind of on your own thing. And just to watch them do that.
They don't have a clue.
No.
Yeah.
Same thing with the deer I've seen. They didn't have a clue I was there except the one that busted me. And she didn't have a clue until she was right there.
Yeah.
So I was watching her, and she's just cruising. The other one ended up cruising out to the rye field, just eating underneath the tree.
It's always a good time to spend up north. But then, like you said, that drive home, you got an hour jump on me. By the time I came through, it was getting pretty hairy.
I tell you what, 33 was getting pretty dicey when I was coming through.
Yeah.
Because I was behind salt trucks, and it was just one of those things that just take it slow.
Yeah, that's all you can do. But hunting season's over. For me anyway. How about you?
It looks like it's going to be over. We're heading into the holidays, and as best I can tell, I think it's over.
Yeah, I think so. It's I'm not going to get back out by the end of the year, so
yeah, I
my
don't think
season's
I am
finished
either.
up. So, but I tell you what, we're running up here a little past our time, so let's take our first break. When we come back, we got some other things we want to talk about that have to do with deer hunting. Some things that the state of Michigan DNR actually sent me. So we're going to check that out when we come back. We'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet.
I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back, second segment of the show. Dan, you dropped your stuff there. You all set?
I'm all set. Let's rock and roll.
Okay, well,
Part 2.
Make sure you're all together there.
Absolutely, I'm all together.
So, deer season, we finished deer season up last week for all intents and purposes. Got to close the season out. Overall, good, bad, indifferent. What do you think?
High expectations, no results, depressed.
Did you learn anything this year?
I'd like to talk to you about your formula of time spent out in the woods equals encounter.
You got to talk to Clint Turner about that.
I'd like to talk to him about that because...
How much time do you spend in the woods this year, deer hunting, actually on stand? Do you keep track?
I really didn't keep track, but...
An estimate?
I know I was up there, let's see, a week for sure. 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening. That's times 5, so that's...
35 hours, say?
Yeah.
7? Okay.
And then another one, so 80 hours.
80 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Just, I had expectations. I kind of had expectations, but I knew what I was up against because of the UP regulations.
Okay. Due to the deer die-off the previous 2 or 3 years, right?
Due to some bad winters a few years ago, and the management approach that they're taking of saying no does during bow season, very limited doe antlerless permits will be given out, only in the southern UP that they'll be given out. So with that in mind, I knew I wasn't going to be able to shoot something unless it had antlers. And I thought we'd see more than we did. We saw a lot of little bucks, which was good. Didn't see a lot of mature bucks. But
you're missing a whole age class, though, from what you were saying.
Yeah, we're missing a whole age class from 2 years ago. But I think what I learned this year, if you're going to ask me if I learned something, I think this supermoon has something to do with it. I really did.
It was so bright?
I think it wasn't because it was so warm.
And it was warm.
It was warm, but the rut still happens.
Yeah, the rut still happens, yes.
So, down south, the rut still goes on. It's warm down there.
Yeah.
I think the supermoon had something to do because I've been talking with a few people at work who've got friends or they hunt out of state themselves, and it kind of the timeline all fit the same narrative. Oh, I got bucks on trail cameras. Oh, I'm seeing them in October. One guy's letting small 8s go by. He saw some on camera. He's like, okay, this is the deer I want. I'm letting these small 8-pointers go by, and it's a little bit bigger one that he marked that he wanted to shoot. But as soon as we started heading into the last of October into November, when the supermoon started to appear, the bigger bucks decided to disappear. Now, granted, we have seen some big bucks go down, but I don't think on the numbers that I thought we were going to see. But the only thing I can think of is it has to do with the supermoon thing.
You think by disappearing, you what you're talking about is they went nocturnal?
I think they did a lot they kind of flipped their schedule. Human pressure drives them into nocturnal, but when they can see really good at night and they can do all their business at night, and then they can just find a nice thicket to lay in for all day or pretty much most of the day.
Right.
And being warm, they really didn't have to forage for food typically that they normally do. It just all played together, and I think that was probably what I took away from learning. So,
adding on to that, I was hunting the buck I named Night Train this year. Every trail cam photo I had of him was at night. Every one. I laid eyes on him one time, one evening, an hour before dark. He came out into the field. I was hunting the wrong stand, but I did see him for a good half hour.
Right. Yep.
But every trail cam, even after that, I picked him up on trail cam once, two or three other times. And I still haven't checked everything from the last part of November.
Oh, okay. You haven't checked
still,
yet.
They're still laying on the floor over there. I've been busy this week. Haven't had a chance to check him to see if he's on him. But every trail cam photo I have of him it's at night. So yeah, there may be something to that. And I talked with a former board member of the Northeastern chapter of QDMA here in Michigan, and we were talking about, and he explained to me, what they call the October lull, the pre-rut lull.
Yep.
When people don't see bucks, like where'd they go? And, and I kind of saw that as well up until Night Train showed himself the first time. And he explained it as pre-rut, they're building up testosterone. They're getting amped up and ready for this big rut where they're going to start the breeding season. And he says the big bucks, they get jittery or anxious, that all those chemicals building up in them, and they're on the edge to the point, or paranoid to the point where they lay down and they take it easy and they move right at dark.
They almost get like achy almost, right?
Yeah, and he says, and it builds up, and it does make it a little painful for them. Studies have shown. I don't know how they figure that out, but they ask them and they say, yeah, my joints are hurting or whatever.
Does this hurt?
But yeah, up until that point of when it's actually breeding season, and bang, they turn on and they go crazy. So.
Right. So, it's just one of those things. So, like you had it there you go. You had the buck on camera. You actually seen the buck, and all of a sudden, and you haven't heard of the buck being taken.
No. Last camera photo I had was November 9th. And at that point in time, obviously I didn't hunt the first week of rifle season at our camp. Once you get that influx of activity, people driving the property, people going out and hunting, just some dynamics of things we're dealing with at our place, it tends to push those deer nocturnal or off the property with so much activity. And once season was over, I mean, we picked him up November 9th. We didn't see him all season that I know of. Nobody else had him on camera that I know of. Nobody around the area shot him. So we didn't see him that first week after season, which we checked the cameras. I left him out up until we left that day, and I went out and pulled all my cameras.
Okay, yeah.
And we left camp the last day of muzzleloader. So I'm hoping to see, okay, the bucks are filtering back on the property due to the fact there's activity.
Less activity.
Yeah, well, and the thing is we put this plan together, our camp manager and I, of how to get out onto the property and get these young hunters out, get them in stand with very minimal impact, and not leaving vehicles in the woods, not parking in the woods. And only having one vehicle drive and drop everybody off and get out of the woods.
Right, exactly.
So everything was real quiet, and subdued. So that way, and we did. We saw more deer. There's more deer activity that way. So it worked out pretty well.
So it just goes to show you that. And you had high expectations because you were getting them on the cameras before then.
Yeah, well, I went into the season a little cautious because we didn't have any what I call shooter bucks on camera. And I was moving cameras constantly because we'd leave them out for a while, wouldn't see nothing. But we did the big logging project. We don't know if that impacted their travel. We know it impacted their travel routes, but how did it impact them? We don't know.
Right.
And we're still trying to figure those things out. But, we saw some 2.5-year-old bucks, saw a lot of 1.5-year-old bucks, and a lot of button bucks. So where did the big bucks go? We don't really know. We haven't really figured that out per se. So except for Night Train, I seen him and I seen one other real nice buck on camera.
I think they're vacationing down in Florida.
Could be.
Could be. That's just the thing. But people have been taking bucks, and some have been taking them after season. So we just didn't do it right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we didn't do it. It was not from lack of doing it right. I think the old adage goes. You got to hunt where the bucks are. You got to figure out where they're at. And that was the problem I had, was getting on to where. Once I figured out where he was running, that's when I really started strategizing, putting. I even moved a stand right in the middle of the season, which I've never done.
That's the stand I was sitting in.
No.
Oh,
no.
I thought you mentioned that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the stand you were in is the one I should have been hunting the night he showed himself.
Oh, okay.
but I didn't. So.
Okay.
No, I did move a tree stand and put it up right in the middle of a hunt.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. We didn't see the bucks during the day like we typically, even at a distance, just cruising. We didn't see that either.
Yeah.
So where did the bigger bucks go?
Yeah, I don't know.
We saw the 5-point and the 4-point. But just nothing bigger than that.
Right.
So it you know what? Well, we're gonna end this season, and then we're gonna start thinking about it next season already.
Yeah, you're doing a logging project this year.
Yeah, we're hoping to get. I got to get with the forester here, hopefully before the end of the year, to find out where we're status on that, and then go from there. Hopefully, we'll get that taken care of sooner than later. I'd like to get that done. I'm hoping to get it done before May, but I don't know if that'll happen.
Okay.
I'd like to get it because that's when the fawns start to drop and everything. I'd like to get the logging crews in there, let them do what they're going to do, mess it up, let things where they lay, and get out of there and
get at it next season.
Let the deer come back in, and they'll move. They'll push out a little bit, but they'll come. It's a food source. They know.
Are you going to put trail cameras out through the winter, or did you leave cameras out?
No, I didn't leave any cameras out through the winter,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'll be up there during the winter. So
okay,
if anything, I'll be able to put them out probably towards May.
Okay. Yeah, we've got some out now. We're getting more ready to go for this last phase of our trail cam study, but we're kind of waiting to see when this next logging cut is coming. We're figuring right around the first of the year.
Oh, okay.
A week or two.
How much more acreage are you going to do then?
I think we've got 80, 100 acres, 80 acres, somewhere in there. I don't know.
Same general area that?
No, it's actually on the south side of the property.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So
there you
it's
go.
a completely different area.
That's cool.
But, I'm going to pose a question to you here about deer hunting, and then we're going to take a break. I'm going to let you stew on it for a second.
Oh, you're going to let me stew about it?
Yeah. While we're in the break.
This. All right. So what's your question that you're going to ask me about, Johnny?
I got a nice email from Michigan's DNR. It was a survey they wanted me to take concerning when the opener of firearm season should be. Do we keep it, and this question's been posed before, do we keep it on November 15th as it's always been, tradition, that's where it's been, or do we change it to the nearest Saturday of November 15th, or maybe the third Saturday of November?
And this was an email that you got?
Yeah, it was a survey asking if we should change the opener.
Why did you get one and I didn't?
They like me. They like my opinion, I guess.
I guess so. Obviously, they don't like my opinion.
Yeah, you didn't get that email, huh?
I didn't get
All right.
that email. I got everything else under the sun about that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take our next break. We come back. Let's discuss this, and I want your opinion on it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show.
Third segment. And you know what? I'm kind of, you had to give me some time to think about it, and I'm upset. I am thoroughly upset that I'm going to rant, and I'm just going to go on and on and on, that you get an email, and I didn't. I get an email about duck hunting from the DNR, about property, about this, but it comes to the survey, I don't get nothing.
Well, they can't send them out to everybody, I guess.
Why can't they?
I don't know.
What? It's an email list.
I guess they don't want they want a sampling of the hunters out there to figure out where they're at. You know, I don't know why.
La-ti-da.
So yeah, I got this survey.
What was the question? Was it just one question?
No, it was about 20 actually.
Oh, okay. But the gist of it was moving opening day off the 15th.
Well, and keeping it on a Saturday or a weekend. That was basically it, you know, because the 15th obviously is a floating day. I mean, it opened on Tuesday this year. Next year's Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep. And you know what? I think Wisconsin is the third Saturday every year opening deer season.
Ohio's opens the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I believe, is their shotgun season.
And their bow season. Ours opens October 1st.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but Ohio opens the last Saturday of September.
September for
no matter what day it is.
Right.
It's so. Is that the question you're posing me?
Basically, would you like to see Michigan's and we're just talking about firearm deer season. Would you like it to open on a Saturday versus November 15th every year, no matter what day it falls on?
Start with October 1st. If we were to say let's make the bow opener the first Saturday of October, wherever that lands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a problem with that, and I think it would give it a little bit more
oomph
as to say, hey, when I plan my time away, and this will go for November 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's the third Saturday. I'm not too keen on the Saturday closest to the 15th, because then it could float earlier and then float later.
Yeah, then you get into that pre-rut versus the rut.
Well, plus if you're planning and it's like, well, I always wanted to hunt the couple, but let's just say that
the third Saturday,
just like other states that do, and then your planning of your time away could be a lot better. You know, you're going to have to be opening is on this Saturday,
right?
So if you plan to always be up there 2 days prior, you'll always know that you can leave on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and you'll be there.
Okay.
And I think it'll give, as opposed to, it opens up on a Tuesday this year, and then Thursday next year because of leap year, and I got to adjust. But I think, sure, why not? Why not have it on a stable day that the planning and everything? I know everybody. October or November 15th is that's opening day.
It's Christmas with guns.
It's Christmas with guns. But why not make it the third Saturday? Or we'll just say even the second Saturday. That's from whenever that is, 2 weeks from that Saturday is gun season. And then it's done. Why not? Why not give it something for planning wise, for people in business? They'll know, okay, we'll have an influx. Because some people, when we have our openers, I believe during the weekday, we have less because I can't get out of work until the weekend anyways.
Right.
So, okay, I'm going to miss the first couple of days of season.
Mm-hmm.
But yet now, if it's always on the Saturday, it's like, I'm going to make opening day again and again and again because I can have that Saturday off. Now, for areas that are close to states like Wisconsin that does it the third Saturday for gun season, they'll have to make a choice because there are guys up there that will hunt the Wisconsin opener and they hunt the Michigan opener. And they'll have to make a choice which one they want to do.
Okay, yeah, because you up by where you hunt in the UP, you're right there by the Wisconsin
exactly.
border.
And Fridays are a big day for the Michigan opener there because most of the Wisconsiners come. They'll hunt Friday.
Okay.
Then they'll head back home to hunt their opener on Saturday.
Okay.
So they almost get like a double dip because I've talked to a few guys that have done that. They'll take the whole weekend off knowing they'll be hunting an opener on Friday, opener on Saturday. But if we do it all on one day, they'll just have to make a choice, and whether it'll be up to them. But I think they would give it As far as where it falls in the calendar, the rut and stuff like that, if we keep it around the third Saturday and let just be there, we'll adapt to what's going on.
Okay, so you're in favor of it.
I think I could go for that. Yeah, absolutely. Because then I know when I take my time off that if I go Wednesday to Wednesday, I know I'll have so many days of bow hunting, so many days of gun season. It is. I go for it. I will if it was my survey, but obviously I'm not anybody to be surveyed. I would say okay with it. What about you?
I was in favor of it. Pretty much the same reasons. It's easy for scheduling. My bigger concern is not so much the older hunters or the people in the workforce. My concern was more for the young hunters who are in school, whether it be college or whether it be high school or elementary school. You know, when you're taking your young kids up and you're introducing them to hunting. Our school system rewards the high school kids for not missing school. They get to opt out of exams depending on how many days they miss and what their grade is.
Okay.
My daughter, she would not go opening week, which I wound up missing anyway. But had I went, she wouldn't have went opening week
because she didn't want to miss school.
She could have missed school, but she didn't want to because she didn't want to have to take the finals.
Right, exactly.
And she's being rewarded for that. So when you get into those situations, or just kids missing school, period. And I don't mind my kids missing school to go hunting as long as they haven't missed a ton of school in the year. But yeah, there are those things where, parents don't want to take their kids out of school for a complete week. You can get them up there for the opener on a Saturday. You can leave, Friday afternoon or have maybe miss one day and get them to camp.
Or you just have them go to school for a half day and then you leave by noon or depending on where you're going. But that's a good way to look at it because the way I think, I guess going to the word I want to use, the more planability and the more versatility you have with that being on a constant same day year after year. We do it now, but it fluctuates.
Yeah, but it moves, through the week.
Right.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, you look at the calendar and go, okay, it's on a Wednesday. This is the week. All right.
Yep.
Well, it's a little bit this way. Okay, we'll switch it. But if it's always on a Saturday, then you can, like you just said, plan to leave Friday afternoon. You're up there. You're ready. Opening day, boom.
Right on.
And I wish they would actually do that for bow season as well. Then, if they're going to do it for one, let's figure it out for the whole thing, and say the first Saturday of October is opening of bow. The third Saturday of November is gun. And I think muzzleloading is the first weekend after.
It usually opens on the first Friday after
the first Friday after gun season.
Usually, I think I could be wrong on that.
Well, either. Kind of doing the same thing. Okay, so gun season ends here. The first Saturday after that, let's say, is muzzleloader.
Okay.
I would let's get some definition down and start nailing down some dates. That way, everybody can, like you said, and if you're starting a new job, you don't have the vacation time, and I really like to be there for the opener. I've missed it in so long. This will help you out.
Unless you work weekends.
Well, unless you work weekends, correct. And
that person's going to get hosed.
What do you think this will do? We'll say economy-wise. Will it improve the economy for the typical people that are heading up north that do? Or, because here's what I saw going up north this year, which kind of shocked us because we left and we got up there and it was downright packed at the gas station at the bridge.
Okay.
And it's been a few years since we've actually seen that many. I mean, it was actually waiting in line to get into the pumps.
Okay.
And everybody had their trailers, their four-wheelers, so you knew they were hunting.
Right.
So it was really good to see, and that was a Friday night.
Okay.
So my thinking is, if let's say the next day would have been the opener, kind of the same thing. So my personal opinion would be that the economic value would grow.
That was one of the questions that they asked was, do you think it's going to have an economic impact into the state? Will it help it by having it on a Saturday, open on a Saturday? And yeah, I do. I fully believe you're going to have more people hunting. It's going to introduce more people to hunting. It's going to have more people involved in hunting, whether young or old. I think you're going to see increased license sales. I think you'll see an increase in the economy as well, as far as the hunting industry and mom and pop gas stations and convenience stores and grocery stores, all that kind of cabin rentals. And then all those things.
Now, going on to that side of it, then you can plan to, if you know you're going to get an influx of X amount, you'll be able to either hire people or get your help to be ready for it.
Right.
Instead of saying, hey, we only need you on opening day, so that's Wednesday this week. But after that, don't worry about it.
Right.
But no, we're going to need you for the weekend. I would like to see that happen. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. Then it's kind of like thinking how Mara thinks for her bow season. It's like, hey, last Saturday in September.
It's on the calendar. You plan it and it's done.
Yeah, just last Saturday. There it is. That's when our open.
Yep.
Not what does it fall?
Yeah.
So,
right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take our last break. There's one more question that's actually they asked on this form, but it doesn't have to do with the day that it opens on, and I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
I'm going to let you sit here for a minute and ponder what's he going to ask.
Thanks.
So we're going to step outside, take our last break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. We'll be right back after this.
The 2015 Dream Season Decree is a deadly combination of speed and precision. It's built for the moments when time stands still. When the only thing that will break the silence is an arrow slicing a clean path to the kill zone. The bow of your dreams is a nightmare for big game. This is PSE's Decree. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show.
Here we are, the last segment of the show before the big guy shows up.
Is he showing up to your house this year?
I sure hope he is.
Is he?
I think I've been good.
Is he bringing you coal?
I think us together, we've been great all year.
Yeah, we've been pretty good.
Yeah,
I've stayed out of trouble.
I know,
so to speak.
All right. So we talked about a question in the previous segment.
Yeah,
because I didn't get the survey. But you said there was another question.
Yeah, and it didn't have nothing to do with the date. It was actually...
And this was on the survey.
This was on the survey. Would you be interested in entertaining the thought of buying a multi-year license and getting a discount, or buying a multi-year license, period, or buying a multi-year license and being put in a drawing for a prize? Basically, they're asking, would you be interested in buying a 2 or 3 year hunting license?
Okay, so I don't know if you can still do this, but I know they offered several years back, might be lots of years back, but you could have bought a lifetime deer hunting license.
Yeah, they don't offer that anymore.
And I should have did it.
Yep.
I should have did it.
Yep.
I've done it with a few of my memberships that I have, NRA, and I got lifetime memberships.
Right.
It's like, okay, I should have done it, but I didn't have the money, so I didn't do it. Would I be interested in a multi-year? So if I did that, I'd be put in for a prize. So they're trying to
possibly. They're just asking.
Right.
Basically, they're trying to see what would it take to get people to buy a multi-year license, whether it be a 2-year or a 3-year license. That was the two examples they give.
Okay, I'll go with yes on it because I typically know, barring anything, I will be hunting the state of Michigan for the next several years. So I'd go with that. And if you want to say, hey, Dan, thanks for buying a 3-year license, your name's in the hat for whatever X prize.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's just a bonus.
Yeah, or the discount. I like the idea of the discount.
Right. Definitely the discount. If you're going to buy multi-years, you got to give a discount if you want to give a prize on top of that. Because unlike other states where it's a draw, would I buy but I don't know if I'm going to get a tag to hunt that.
Yeah, that's kind of a different scenario.
That's a different scenario. So, but knowing typically that I'm going to put in for October or for my combo license, we'll say. I'd go for that. You?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't think that would be a no-brainer in our book.
Yeah, the one thing in the question, the body of the question that it give is talking about, sometimes people, forget to buy their license. I'm like, I don't know anybody that forgets to buy their license. I mean, as an example, they're giving. I'm like, I don't buy into that.
I tell you what, forgetting to buy their license is one thing. I actually bought 2 licenses one time.
Yeah.
Because I thought I didn't have it.
Right.
And then when I got up north, I looked at my backpack and I went, uh-oh.
Give them a little extra money.
So I went right to the DNR and I asked, okay, here's what I did. I bought one earlier in the summer or whenever I bought it, and then I just happened to pick one up, another one, and I got 2.
Right.
I should only have 1.
Right.
And they said, here, send it to this address, write a letter explaining what you did. They actually sent me my money back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably kind of
I'm
cool.
surprised you could buy 2 with the way the system works now with the electronic license structure.
So I've asked that question, and after this season, from what I understand, it might have changed now. This was a few years back.
Okay.
Because I know now, but I was told that after the season, they usually go back and they'll pull a list and see if they do have duplicates.
Okay.
And then they go do a little investigative work.
So being honest pays off. Kept you out of trouble.
It did. So.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'd go for a multi-year license. Give me a discount. Throw in for a prize.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, so that's pretty much the survey. I mean, there was other things in there, but it all boiled down basically is, do you want to move the date? Would you buy a multi-year license? Those types of things. So
they must be getting ready to do something if they're asking the questions. It's one of those things. They just don't ask these questions out of the blue because they're bored and need a survey. But they must be getting ready to do something. I know the state of Michigan's a little bit afraid of change, but hopefully we get down the road. Hopefully they've looked at other states that do things. It's not rocket science. I didn't think so. But it sounds like they're getting ready to... They're doing the survey for a reason. They're starting to kick some tires and see which one they might have to change.
Well, I can give a small insight into this, just a little bit. I was privy to a meeting this week with a couple people from the DNR, and we were talking about some different things. And I won't get into all the details, but basically, they're trying to step up and take a bigger role in deer management. They're working on some things. The other thing is they want to change their image. They said they know that right now they're seen as the guys who write tickets.
Yes, yeah.
When they knock on your door, it's not to deliver Christmas
and
gram.
Usually their name coincides with like a first name of a 4-letter word and then name.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Darn near Russian.
Yeah.
This is what DNR stands for in Michigan.
Yeah.
So they realize that there's a public image problem, number one. Number two, they're trying to figure out how to get around that and ways they can actually show things that they can do that they're doing. One thing they told me about that I had no clue on. They're doing an elk study right now. Part of our DNR money that we pay for license and other things that they get from the outdoorsmen, they're doing this big elk study, and it's like, well, I didn't know that. Yeah, most people don't. And actually, we're hoping after the first year to get one of those guys on the show and talk about that.
It'd be good to get them on and talk with them, and maybe we can start a relationship talking to these guys to on the podcast, getting out what the Michigan and DNR is all about and what they're doing. And it's just not writing tickets.
Writing tickets. Well, and truthfully, if they're writing tickets, you're doing something wrong.
Well, if you watch the show on TV about the ones that follow, I think it's Maine, DNR. They really don't want to write you a ticket.
Right.
They really don't want to have to arrest you. They really don't. But if you put yourself into a situation which they got to do what they got to do, it's their job.
Right. And if you wind up being a smarty pants, they're going to be a lot harder on you, and they're going to find those little things that they can write you a ticket for that they probably wouldn't if you'd keep your mouth shut. There's certain individuals out there that are probably a little harder edge than others, and they're going to prove a point, and they're going to take it to the nth degree. But generally speaking, we want more of these guys in the field. Just like the guys on the west side of the state who way overshot their limit of ducks. Actually, they were poaching.
Yeah, and
it wound up costing them, I think, $20,000 or $30,000. Because of people like that. That's who we want caught and prosecuted for overtaking their limits on game or poaching, and doing things the wrong way.
And I like going in and finding the DNR reports and rating them. And I don't know how many times it's either a repeat offender.
Yep.
And it's like, really, you did it once, got caught, so you're going to do it again.
Do it again, yeah.
And it's like,
You didn't learn your lesson.
You didn't learn your lesson, and shame on you.
Have I ever had a bad experience with a DNR officer?
I can say no.
I can tell you I've never been ticketed. Have I been stopped and asked for my license?
Yep.
Yeah, I have. And it's no big deal. A couple times I've had really good interactions with the DNR officials. It's very informative. You and I, one time we were turkey scouting, and we stopped and talked with him, and he actually put us onto a spot.
Yep.
Where he had seen birds at.
I've had him come up and check my license while I'm fishing. I've checked him while I'm hunting. But yeah, then again, I'm just trying to obey the rules.
Right.
I'm not out there and whatever it might have been. But sometimes I hear these excuses. Oh well, and and then I hear stories of other things, and I'm just shaking my head. And when you get caught, you get mad. It's like, well, you were doing something wrong.
Exactly. Boils down to the fact, like you said, they're kicking tires. They're doing some things. They're asking questions. I think they're turning the management ship in a direction, and they're asking those questions because I think they are thinking about doing something. And my soapbox, I've beat it to death here. And maybe they're starting to listen to people. Maybe they really understand that the people of Michigan, the hunters of Michigan, want a true management system, and not just based on theories or based on standing on an overpass with a flashlight counting deer in the back of a truck.
Right, exactly.
For an hour,
And I think if you were to go down that route, I think there was another. This might have been on Facebook, but there was another question asked. Would you support a $1 rule?
Yeah, I would.
$1, whether you take it archery, whether you take it gun, whether you take it muzzle loading. Of course, we're going to lose out. Well, maybe if you increase our deer, what's the word I want to use? Like when you talk to people and they're going to go to Iowa hunting, or they're going to go to Nebraska, or they're going to go to Kansas. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to Kansas to hunt."
Yeah, how many people say I'm going to Michigan to hunt?
Not many, unless you're in a prime spot. But maybe that image of Michigan can change a little bit if we did something like that.
I truly believe we've got the potential in the state of Michigan to hold some tremendous deer if we can just get people to hold off on the trigger. We're practicing QDM at our club. In a $1 rule, I'm for that. Or they're running APRs in northwestern Michigan, and they've seen great results there.
Right, and it's
shooting does, and keeping that management, intact as far as buck to doe. All that plays together.
It all plays together. You just gotta, you know what you do? You just gotta do it.
Yeah,
you gotta set. If you set it up and you start the project and you tweak it as you go.
Yeah,
I think most of the people will be like, okay, because they'll understand. Just like the QDMA project at your place. What's we all say? You got to get them on the bus, and you got to be going in one direction.
Yeah.
But at least you get everybody on the bus.
Yep.
Maybe not everybody's going to sit up at the front and the back, but maybe the state of Michigan does things, sets things, and just says, hey, we're doing it this way. And after 3 years, okay, we're going to tweak it a little bit.
Right.
And it's like, okay,
yeah,
I can understand. What you thought 3 years ago might be different than what we're seeing today. And if you can prove sound numbers, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, using science to prove the numbers in using the cornerstones of QDM, that there's science behind that, and they're seeing great results in other areas. Why would we not want to be able to shoot bigger bucks? Number one, why wouldn't we want to have a healthy deer herd? And have those ratios, somewhat in check, and doing things the right way, and promoting good sound science and great hunting at the same time.
And I think Michigan, from thumb up, has got a whole bunch of woods that we can work with everybody, private land, public land, getting forested, getting it recut, regrowing, using the natural resources, regenerating it, and just, making it work for everybody.
Absolutely. Yep. So, I hope they are turning in that direction. At least it's showing right now that they're listening.
Right, exactly.
So that's a plus. That's a plus.
I was just about to say, just to get them to listen, we're doing something.
Right on. So well, listen, that pretty much sums up, our deer number or our deer hunts this year. What Danny and I experienced.
Pretty much.
So
that'll be it for hunting season. And I tell you what, with this water, this cold,
we got some ice.
Looks like that ice is forming on the lake. So hopefully, maybe in January, February, we'll be able to get out and
ice fish this year.
Yeah, maybe.
Go figure.
Yeah. So
Well, listen, we got Christmas coming up next week.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about this. Dan and I are going to plan on recording a show on the 26th, which is a Monday morning.
Right.
It's going to be a little different than what we normally do, so don't look for our show Sunday night, late Sunday night, being posted. It'll be posted sometime Monday afternoon.
Right.
That way we can at least get a show out to you guys, talk about Christmas, maybe some of the cool things we got, and look forward to some things coming down the pipe for 2017.
Right.
So,
all right, let's wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
From the entire Up North Journal team, we wish everybody out there listening, all of our fans and listeners, a very Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you again, and we'll talk about a Happy New Year. That'll do it for us this week, folks. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.